what's up? And welcome back to another Forgotten Corner episode. The new intro was supplied by Josh Bennett, who you may know has directed loads of films with me. This time I'm going to review a film that I do not have on DVD, but I do have the first film. This is The Animator. Well, the sequels. Bride of the Animator and Beyond the Animator. I both think that these are really interesting films. I love the first The Animator film, it's an absolute masterpiece. Speaking of which, this film was an absolute cult classic and definitely is one of the great horror films. But the sequels are actually pretty entertaining. The sequels were developed and let me just say that they did not have a good track record against critics. Critics got slammed them and basically, well, they barely even got theatrical releases. Bride of the Animator was basically released in 1990 and it's actually a pretty good film. It's kind of a little bit schlock, but it is really entertaining. The film has also got a smart whip to it, and basically the film is possibly a good sequel to me. It's kind of like Halloween 2, or Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, or hell, even like Nightmare on Elm Street 2 and Friday the 13th. How come those the sequels are like odd? The sequels like other horror films are like odd, like Halloween 2, think about that, then think of the original. Then you think of Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, then you think of Nightmare on Elm Street 2, then Friday the 13th 2, and it's an American Werewolf London 2. There's nothing to do with Evil Dead. The Evil Dead's still fine, but still. It's just an odd thing, because the sequels just usually are not as good as the originals. But I actually think this film's pretty good. Then there is Beyond the Animator. Beyond the Animator is a lot more different in style. It's a lot more cheekier and more in tone. But I must say, basically, it's a lot of fun. It is a little bit interesting. I do kind of lose myself when I think of basically Herbert West in a place basically where he's surrounded by, I don't know, prisoners. But basically, the plot for like, okay, I'll explain both of these films. Bride of the Animator takes place a few years, I think, after the original Animator. Plus alternate opening. Turns out someone was alive, but I'm not gonna spoil that. If you want to know more, but if you want to basically, this is spoilers, so I recommend you skip. That you don't watch this video because there's going to be loads of spoilers, or just skip to the time frame that I have no idea how long it's going to take for. But yes, if you haven't seen Reanimator, go and check it out. It's called classic, and then check out the sequels. If you already seen these films, and basically if you've seen the first film, here's the second one for you. If you don't want to watch it, it's hard to explain, but just kind of figure it out in your brain. Basically, this right here, well. Bride of the Animator basically starts off with them in a concentration camp, basically in the war. Herbert West is basically using his usual serum to bring back dead people, and then basically they cut back to the present time. Herbert West is now thinking of doing something different with his serum. He decides to mix up body parts to make a bride, a woman, out of the animated parts. Yeah, it kind of goes a little bit bonkers, but it makes Herbert West being smart from the first film to more mad in the second film. So I will actually give it that. And it's Beyond the Animator. Beyond the Animator, I don't know how long it takes for, but still, basically, Beyond the Animator was released on direct DVD in Australia, I think. Yeah, but basically, it's got Chris Hemsworth's wife in it in her first role. The film basically focuses on Herbert West being sent to jail after an incident that happened. I think this may take place right after the second one. Eventually, this kid gets the serum, and basically, while Herbert West is in jail, he actually gets visited by the same kid who basically brings him the serum. There's also this creepy man who runs the prison, and also there's this woman. The boy and her hit it off, but basically they start bringing back dead people. They bring back this skinny guy who basically swallows a rat in one scene. I remember hearing it where I just started cracking up. There's also this guy who has a pet called Ratty. that basically loves very, very much, but Herbert kills it and then basically decides to bring it back. He also creates something that in the second film it was all about bringing back body, bringing back the sustainable part of the human body, bringing it back into a human, basically doing like making Frankenstein kind of style of the animator. The second one that was like, this time there was also something that happened in the first film. This is going through all the films. Whenever someone gets to serum, they don't just go like, "Ah, I'm alive again." No, they're like, "Ah!" So basically, yeah, that's what the film is about. They were basically like that. But Herbert has now created a device that can basically make them stable. So basically, they'll be completely, "Oh, I'm fine now." He uses the rat, and basically, it works out. And I must say, basically, this film is really, really okay. It's not the best of the series, but I have to admit, it was also released at the time when basically a lot of stuff came out. I came out from London. There was a Texas Chainsaw Massacre reboot, Freddy vs. Jason, Halloween Resurrection, and basically that's some of the stuff that came out around that time. This was up there with it. I'm sure there was Evil Dead games. But I must say, basically, this film's actually pretty enjoyable. I'd recommend you check out the first Reanimator movie, but if you are a die-hard horror fan and plus you just want to see more of Herbert West, definitely check out these. I'm not suggesting the sequels to anyone else who only just like the first one and basically does not want to see anything that's not like horror-y. Definitely don't check out these films. But I am recommending to true horror fans and fans of the Reanimator series who haven't seen the sequels. So yeah. And the next review shall be explained using a little thing I like to call time. Just kidding. I'm just gonna show a picture of an animal and basically using the sound from the film to basically show you what kind of film I'm doing next.